actually did my makeup for this video. Hey friends, it's me, Elena, and today I've decided I'm going to film my first wrap-up video and also my first TBR video because unlike other booktubers, I don't read 1,000 books. Okay, so it wouldn't make sense for me to make an August wrap up that's 3 minutes long and then a September TBR that's also 3 minutes. So I'm just gonna put them into one. Although I was going through my Goodreads to see exactly which books I read in August. There's a good amount. I'm proud of myself. Pat myself on the back. Good job. Let's get started. So first we're gonna do the August wrap up. And the first book that I read in August, which isn't cheating, but I didn't exactly read all of it in August, is King of Scars by Leigh Bardugo. I read this book, well, I started it in July and then finished it in August. It took me so long. It took me almost a month. I started this in the beginning of July and finished it in the 3rd of August. This took a lot out of me. It wasn't bad. I really enjoyed it. I loved the continuation that we were getting because I love Shadow and Bone. It's one of my favorite trilogies, and I really like Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. I love them. So I was really excited about King of Scars, and in my opinion, it was really slow. But then again, other books are also slow, so I don't know what wasn't doing it for me. I think I just wasn't in the mood for something that would take so much brain power out of me. And I also think that because there's a lot of politics in this book, which don't get me wrong, the fact that there is a lot of politics makes sense because of the main characters. The main character in this is Nikolai. I just think that I don't love Nikolai as much as other people do. Do not murder me for saying that. I love Nikolai. I think I respect him more than I love him. I respect how much he loves Ravka and his country and everything. But he's just not one of my favorite characters. I don't know. I much prefer other characters. But I really did enjoy this book. And I gave it 4 stars, so that's not a bad rating. But I just think that in some parts it was really slow, and then some parts I really enjoyed. And I think I just had a problem with the pacing. Problem might be with me, but it's still a good book, and I recommend that you read it, even though I didn't enjoy it to the fullest. Oh, I will say, this did make me cry, but then again, I also cry a lot, so I don't know if that means anything to you, but it did make me cry, and any book that can make me cry can't get lower than 3 stars. The next book that I read this month, which if you've seen my last video, you will know that I reread Lady Midnight by Cassandra Clare, and I'm still not recovered from this. The Dark Artifices are my favorite series, along with Shadow and Bone. I've said this 50 times during the last 3 videos, and you just stop saying this. But I love this series. I love the characters. I love everything about it. And I don't know if I mentioned it in the reading vlog, but this is one of the most best paced books I've ever read. And it's not just because I'm rereading it. I genuinely enjoyed it this much when I read it the first time, and it kickstarted my reading. And there are a lot of tabs on this book, and I loved every second of it. And I keep looking back on it. I'm in love. I'm in love. I love Cassandra Clare's writing. I love her characters. I love how she has sculpted this story. I love everything about it. 5 out of 5 stars. Still has not changed. If anything, it's making me love it more, and the cover is gorgeous. So if you haven't read this series, go read them, but you have to read other series before this. I promise it's worth it. Just give Cassandra Clare's books a try, okay? You will not be disappointed. So the next book after that, which I got to immediately after I read Lady Midnight because I was in a really big reading mood, is Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare. This is a humongous book. In terms of how big it is, dimensions, not how big it is page-wise. This book, left me speechless. I had already started this. I was like 200 pages in when I read it, like in the beginning of this year or like the ending of last year, something like that. And then school started and I couldn't finish it. I reread the part and then continued reading. And I am once again left speechless. This like sucked every emotion out of me. Every single feeling you could think of right at the top of your head, I felt reading this book. This is one of Cassandra Clare's best written books. That's all I'm gonna say. Every sentence was just a joy to read. This video is just gonna be me talking about how much I love Cassandra Clare. I love this book. I love the characters in it, and the fact that it's a continuation of the Infernal Devices, which is like close to one of my favorite series of all time. This was so good. So good. I will have you know that I sobbed at every mention of Will, Jem, and Tessa because I love them three. And then the Merry Thieves. I love the gang. I love the characters. I love the groups. I love the time period that it's set in. I love everything about it. And this cover is gorgeous. And the fact that this was a gift from my friends for my birthday makes it even better because I have an emotional attachment to this exact copy of it now. So, if there's ever a time where I own a different copy of this book and I have to get rid of one, it's gonna be the other one. I'm not getting rid of this one. It also has tabs in it, like a lot, because I enjoyed literally everything about it. And I think this is one of the best first books Cassandra Clare has written. Saying that Lady Midnight is also that, but this does not feel like a first book. Obviously it has things set up for the second one, and it does kind of take a while to introduce you to the characters, and there's a lot of characters. It's a perfect book. Read it. Please read it. Kind of last two books that I'm gonna mention I read really recently when I was away from home because I couldn't bring a physical book with me, and I really didn't feel like bringing it as well because the book that I was currently reading I will mention later, but I put that aside, and on my phone I read The Mistake by Elle Kennedy, and I haven't finished the next book, which is The Score by Elle Kennedy. I'm including it because I have very little of it left and I already know what my rating is and my thoughts on it, regardless of what the ending is gonna be. So I'll add it in there as well. I read The Deal when I was on holiday and I really enjoyed it. It really shocked me how much I really liked it. If you didn't know, it's the first book in the Off Campus series, which is a hockey romance kind of companion novel series by Elle Kennedy. And I read the first one on holiday with my friend, and we were pleasantly surprised. I really, really loved it, and I gave it 4 stars. I loved Garrett, I loved Hannah. I actually surprisingly really love Elle Kennedy's writing. When I was away, I started reading The Mistake, and a lot of people were saying that they don't like The Mistake, and that they don't like Logan. Ever since Logan was first mentioned, I've been waiting to read more about him. I enjoyed The Mistake the most out of the books that I've read. Like the 3 books, Logan has my heart. I love the book. I love Grace. I can't explain to you how much I love Logan and Grace together. And after that, I immediately started The Score, which is Dean's book. And I've heard that this book, a lot of people's like love this one and it's their favorite and they love Dean. I don't hate him. I really like him. And I also really like Allie. I think I'll give The Score 3.5 stars just because I'm not really into the whole fling and sexual attraction type of thing. Like obviously that's a part of a relationship. Of course it is. But I more so enjoy the other aspects of a relationship and 2 characters meeting. Like, Dean is a sweetheart, and moments in the book really make my heart flutter, but I'm just not into that whole only sexual attraction type of thing. Like, at this point, they still haven't expressed that they really, really like each other, like, beyond that sexual part. I just think that I would much prefer reading Logan's book because it wasn't so focused on the sex. This is more focused around that, and I don't mind it, and I'm enjoying it. 3.5 is still a high rating. So I'm still really enjoying it, and I'm excited to read the last book. But I'm just saying that it's not my favorite, and I think it's my least favorite out of the 3 that I've read. Those are all of the book. Oh, those are not all of the books that I read. I forgot one. I read this one before I finished Lady Midnight, and I completely forgot that I read it, even though I really, really enjoyed it. It's a graphic novel called Fangs. Oh, I don't remember the author. I'm really sorry. It's right here. Fangs. It's a graphic novel. I read it in like 10 or 15 minutes. Loved it. Okay. I loved it. It was really good. And it just shows you that you don't have to know so much about the characters to love them. Because I loved the 2 main characters. I don't remember their names now. But I loved them and I loved the dynamic. And I love how fast it was going because I was reading it before going to bed. It was perfect. And it was just really good. It was a fun read. Really loved it. Really enjoyed it. 5 stars. I would read it again, definitely. So now that the August wrap-up part is over, let's talk about the books that I'm gonna read in September. I finished Chain of Gold, like I mentioned before, and I started Chain of Iron, but I didn't finish it because of that thing when I wasn't home and I didn't want to bring the book because it's huge. This is my priority for this month. I need to finish Chain of Iron by Cassandra Clare because Chain of Gold left off on such a cliffhanger, and it's such a contradicting feeling if you've read Chain of Gold. I'm laughing because we were talking about this with my friend. It's such a contradicting feeling, the feeling that you get after reading Chain of Gold. And now that I'm reading Chain of Iron, I've already started it. I'm on page 112. Oh, wow. I did not think I passed the 100 page mark, but I'm very excited. My friend read this like yesterday or the day before. She was not okay. I'm really scared about the ending. Not because I know things about it, but because it's the ending of the second book in a trilogy, which means that it's going to end on a bigger cliffhanger than Chain of Gold did, because then it's setting up for the third book, which is the finale. And I will not be able to handle it. Those are all the physical books that I have with me. So from now on, they're just going to pop up somewhere on the screen. But since I read Lady Midnight, I would love to read Lord of Shadows in September as well. I need to purchase that book in order to read it, but I definitely will be reading it. I'm very excited because I can kind of before I reread Lady Midnight, I remembered what happens in it. But Lord of Shadows and Queen of Air and Darkness, because they happen right after each other, there's no time pass between the books. They kind of are just one big story, and I can't differentiate what happens in Lord of Shadows and what happens in Queen of Air and Darkness. So I'm excited to reread it. And I know a lot more things happen in the second book and then like in the end, obviously. And I'm very, very excited to continue. So that's my next goal. Speaking of the goal, I want to read. I hate myself. That was a terrible pun. I want to read The Goal by Elle Kennedy, which is the last book in the Off Campus series, and I am so excited to read it because ever since I met Tucker, I've been wanting more of him. And he has a book. And I can't wait to read it. I've read the synopsis for it, and Sabrina is his love interest. I think Sabrina's her name. I don't have good thoughts about her from reading the score, but I'll give it a go. I'm definitely reading it for Tucker mostly at this point without meeting Sabrina or knowing anything about her. Well, I mean, I've met Sabrina, but I really don't know a lot. So I'm very excited because I already love Tucker and I hope that I'm gonna love this book, and I think I will. I think he's really cute. I think they're all really cute. Oh, I think that I really want to finish the Heartstopper series because I've read, I think, the first 3 volumes, and I think there's 1 or 2 more that I need to read, and I really want to read them. So I'm adding them to my TBR because they're really quick and really light and really easy to read. And I think I can use them as a good buffer between the Cassandra Clare books. Those are the books that I read in August and the books that I want to read in September. And if I read more than what I've put on my TBR, then good job. And if I read less, then hey, at least I tried. Okay, at least I read something. So that's good. And yeah, before I finish this video, I just want to say thank you for all the love and support that I got on the first video. I didn't mention this in the Lady Midnight reading vlog because I had already filmed that, but I'm mentioning it now. Every single time that I got a comment, it just made me so happy, and thank you for the warm welcome that I got from everyone. Yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Stick around for more if you want to. Please do. I'm having fun. I hope you're also having fun. Like, subscribe, drop a comment. I would not mind that. I would be very happy if you did. You don't have to though, it's okay. And that's the end of this video. Again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.